Found a really cool article about British Columbia hazelnut forests were found to be farms from First Nations 7,000 years ago. New insights into the First Nations of British Columbia show how these resourceful people cultivated hazelnuts across hundreds of miles of their forest homes. The study comes as certain Indigenous nations in Canada were attempting to assert land claims by arguing their ancestral use. These native tribes have oral histories of cultivating beaked chestnuts in a way that bisects the traditional divide between hunter-gatherers and agriculturalists. Like many trees west of the Rocky Mountains, beaked chestnuts release their seeds following forest fires, which native cultures once used to exploit this nutritious crop. Chelsea Grinalda Armstrong of Simon Fraser University wanted to see this interaction with the chestnut tree left a genetic imprint would be detectable in plants today. Armstrong and her colleagues sampled 219 individual hazelnut representing 3 distinct regions in and assessed 9,650 genome-wide nucleotide polymorphisms, SNPs. SMP is a technical term for all those little genetic differences that make individuals of one species different from another. In the study, Armstrong found that clusters of shared genetic lineage could not be mapped onto a landscape inconsistent with natural processes. What she's saying is that they're scattered is not natural. That somebody did it. That somebody moved it, that brought the trees from place to place and planted them. We have evidence of this happening in other parts of the world. And one of them is one of the biggest mysteries on Earth right now. This is from the Joe Rogan podcast. Everything, of course, will be linked. But I found this fascinating, and it really does kind of go along with this article.
They invented a soil, and that soil has a name. It's called Terra Preta. Archaeologists refer to it as Amazonian dark earths or Amazonian black earth. It's a man-made soil. It's thousands of years old. It's full of microbes that are not found in adjoining soil. It's based around biochar. And you can take a handful of 8,000-year-old Terra Preta and you can add it to barren soil, and that soil will instantly become fertile. It's highly sought after in the Amazon, and it explains how they fed these people. There was science in the Amazon.
How did they create this?
Well, this is something that's not understood. It's still not understood by soil experts to this day as to how that was done, but it's one of many intriguing pieces of evidence of much higher development in the Amazon that it has been given credit for, and of a kind of science in the Amazon.
Jamie's got.
There's a famous streamer out there, shout out to Styx Hexenhammer, who does his own biochar, and he has many videos about it, and I highly recommend Styx's channel to anyone who hasn't seen it. What are you doing? Styx Hexenhammer 666 on every single streaming platform that there is. Get with it. Styx is the man.
Got an image of it up there. So this is it?
This is Terra Preta, yeah. Exactly,
wow.
Exactly. And
so was that done by burns? Did they use controlled burns?
They did. One way that it was achieved was to do wet burning. Of middens. They would be burned and smolder. They wouldn't burn fiercely, which just produces charcoal. They would burn and smolder, and that what is called biochar would result, and that's part of the fertility of the soil. But the mystery is the microbial content of this soil, which is completely different from the microbes in neighboring soils, and that remains unexplained.
It still is unexplained for the most part, but we are learning more and more about it. Like I said, many videos of Styx doing biochar things and creating Terra Preta type soil for his garden, and many other videos such as that out there on the internet. Highly encourage everyone to do that. Get a garden going. The more we can count on ourselves, the less we have to count on anyone else.
So, what are the theories? Composting, some sort of advanced composting?
Yes, some sort of advanced composting. But again, what has not been explained is the microbial content of these soils. So there first of all is an issue of how two things: how large populations get fed in the Amazon, and evidence that there was a culture in the Amazon that was capable of manipulating the environment in such a way that it could support large populations with the invention of Terra Preta. Secondly, new evidence, previously not recognized, the Amazon is basically a garden. The Amazon is a man-made rainforest. There are certain trees like Brazil nut trees or the ice cream bean tree, which
Or in the north, the chestnut tree.
are food crops, which are very, very valuable, and they dominate the tree regime in the Amazon. They're what's referred to as hyperdominant species. In other words, people living in the Amazon over thousands of years selected certain trees, which they then cultivated and grew. So the whole thing is not simply a wild, pristine rainforest. It's a very ancient man-made environment. And emerging from that man-made environment, as well as evidence of large cities, large populations, and this mysterious dark earth, are huge geometrical structures. And again, I go into this at length in America before because I love this mystery.
So is it possible that portions of North America were also selectively chosen plants? Pine nuts. I mean, the pine tree is prevalent, but pine nuts certainly are something you can eat. Apparently, chestnuts were chosen by the native First Peoples to be harvested as a forest crop. As he's talking about the ice cream bean and everything down in South America, it's evidence that we have been utilizing things in a different way than regular science can comprehend right now. We have a lot to learn. We keep discovering new and incredible things. And when we go back to just this article here, the British Columbia article, hazelnut pollen found in layers dating to about 7,000 years ago suggests indigenous peoples had deliberately brought the hazelnut north from multiple different locations, then tended and cultivated them. I'll bring it up. Right here. We have a lot to learn. Our ancestors were very smart. In the same way we have apple trees in our yards, or citrus trees, or walnut, or anything like that we can utilize. Our ancestors saw the same thing and planted forests of it. I'll, of course, link the article and this Joe Rogan podcast clip, which is fascinating. If you haven't seen this one with Graham Hancock, it's incredible. Thanks.